Okay, so you want to own a bowling alley. From the parking lot, it looks simple. Lanes, shoes, pizza, families, and Friday night cash flow. You imagine the lanes filling up, the scoreboard glowing, kids laughing, and every rolling ball quietly turning rented space into another little stream of money. To the customer, this is a night out. A ball, 10 pins, cheap shoes, fried food, and the brief illusion that skill is improving. To the owner, the same night is rent, payroll, insurance, utilities, food cost, debt service, and one repair bill waiting in the back. The most important part of the business may not be the lane customers see. It may be the pin setter machine they never notice. Because when that machine stops, the owner does not just pay for repairs. The owner loses the lane while the bill gets bigger. And when a lane sits empty on Tuesday afternoon, that unused hour cannot be stored, resold tomorrow, or placed on clearance next week. So the business is not simply selling games. It is fighting a cost stack: real estate, labor, repairs, utilities, insurance, and debt. At the front desk, the manager is not just assigning lanes. They are controlling traffic, timing parties, handling shoes, and protecting capacity. The kitchen looks like an add-on, but pizza, fries, drinks, and party packages may decide whether the basic lane revenue is enough. A birthday party is not just a birthday party. It is reserved lanes, food timing, staff scheduling, cleanup, deposits, and emotional expectations. The arcade corner adds another revenue stream, but every blinking machine brings purchase cost, card systems, prize inventory, repairs, and the risk of looking dead. That is why revenue can look impressive while profit stays thin. The top line fills up, the expense stack quietly takes its cut. A packed Saturday night can hide a weak business if Monday through Thursday are too empty, too costly, or too dependent on discounts. So the question is not whether people enjoy bowling. The question is whether enough hours, add-ons, and repairs can leave a real margin. The myth begins with a very believable picture. Buy the lanes, open the doors, rent the shoes, sell snacks, and let weekends do the work. From the outside, every lane looks like a tiny rental unit. Open space, simple rules, repeat customers, and a ball that keeps returning. At the counter, the business appears beautifully simple. Assign a lane, rent a pair of shoes, swipe a card, and watch revenue appear. Even the shoes seem perfect for business math. The same pair gets rented again and again as long as customers keep walking in. A family might bowl, rent shoes, order food, buy drinks, play arcade games, and turn one casual visit into several little transactions. A birthday package looks even better. Reserved lanes, pizza, drinks, arcade cards, and parents willing to pay for one solved afternoon. League bowlers make the model feel safer because recurring customers fill scheduled hours and give the building a rhythm the owner can plan around. On a full Saturday night, the myth feels true. Every lane is moving, the kitchen is busy, and the building finally looks productive. But the same building on a quiet weekday tells a different story. The lanes are still there, and so are the costs. The rent is not charged per strike. Insurance is not charged per birthday party. Debt service does not wait for league night. That is where the myth starts to crack. A busy night creates revenue, but the month decides whether anything is left. The manager is not only selling games, they are trying to pack the schedule tightly enough that expensive space stops sitting idle. Even food, the classic add-on, is not free margin. It brings ingredients, waste, staff, equipment, cleaning, and the tiny drama of late pizza. This is the real question. Are the lanes producing enough revenue per hour, or just making the top line look busy? Because once you look behind the lanes, the myth changes. This is not simple local cash flow. It is machinery, real estate, and utilization. Here is the hidden truth. A bowling alley is not really a bowling business. It is entertainment real estate filled with machines. The lanes are not just where people play, they are capacity. And capacity only matters when enough customers use it often enough. An unused lane is not resting. It is a perishable hour of entertainment inventory disappearing while the building keeps charging the owner. That is why the real estate matters. Rent, mortgage, property tax, parking, roof, HVAC, and utilities shape the business before bowling begins. Then comes the machinery. Behind the fun is a small industrial system of motors, belts, sensors, pin setters, ball returns, and maintenance. A good technician is not just fixing metal. They are protecting revenue, because a lane cannot sell time while it is broken. At the front desk, the operator is really managing demand. Which lanes fill, when parties start, and how long customers stay. The key metric is not just total customers. It is utilization. How many sellable lane hours become paid hours at a useful price? Food and drinks are not random extras. They are attempts to raise spend per visit without building another expensive lane. The arcade does the same thing. It monetizes waiting time, kids, parties, and the small moments when bowling itself is not enough. The party room turns the building into a package. Lanes, food, cleanup, timing, and one afternoon parents do not have to design themselves. So the model becomes layered. Bowling attracts the visit, food expands the ticket, parties fill the calendar, and repairs defend the system. That is why a bowling alley can be busy and still fragile. The business is not one stream, it is a stack. A scaled operator can spread that stack across locations, data, vendors, and systems. A small owner feels every mistake in one building. And before any of that margin can exist, the owner has to buy, build, lease, finance, or renovate the box itself. Buying a bowling alley starts with the obvious question. Are you buying a business, a lease, a building, or a very expensive renovation problem? The purchase price can mean almost nothing by itself. What matters is the equipment age, lease terms, debt, repairs, and cash flow left over. The entry cost stack includes acquisition, security deposit, working capital, renovations, scoring systems, lanes, kitchen equipment, arcade machines, permits, and professional fees. The lanes may look clean from a distance, but surfaces, ball returns, seating, and scoring systems can hide years of deferred maintenance. Old pin setters can be the discount hiding in deal. If they work today but fail tomorrow, the buyer inherited a timer. Any estimate for pin setter repair, parts, or replacement needs, because one old can change the entire acquisition math. If the alley sells food, the kitchen is not a cute bonus. It is equipment, inspection, ventilation, cleaning, inventory, and staff. If the center adds an arcade, the owner is buying another mini business. Machines, card readers, prizes, repairs, layout, and kid psychology. Financing changes everything. The same bowling alley can be survivable with reasonable debt or suffocating if the loan payment is too heavy. The accountant has to stress test the deal. What if revenue is lower, repairs arrive sooner, or interest costs rise after closing? Permits, food rules, safety inspections, alcohol licensing, accessibility, and insurance vary by city and state, so local verification is not optional. For the owner, regulation is not a footnote. It becomes part of the operating system, especially when food, alcohol, and public safety appear. A cheap, closed center may look like opportunity, but it can also mean stale demand, tired equipment, weak location, and years of deferred spending. The real entry cost is purchase price plus renovation, working capital, downtime, opening mistakes, and the unpleasant surprises the seller did not highlight. Only after that does the fun part begin, trying to turn lanes, shoes, leagues, food, parties, and games into actual revenue. The first revenue stream is open bowling. Walk-in customers paying for lane time, shoe rental, and the simple pleasure of trying again. At the counter, the transaction looks lane, 2 pairs of shoes, maybe an hour of play, and a receipt. But economically, the owner is lane hours. Every lane has a limited number of hours it can produce each day. If nobody buys those hours, the inventory expires. The owner cannot sell yesterday's empty lane time to tomorrow's birthday party. A casual family visit helps because it can bundle lane time with shoes, snacks, drinks, and maybe a few arcade swipes afterward. During peak hours, open bowling can feel powerful. The same lane earns more when demand is high and customers accept higher prices. During off-peak hours, the owner may discount to create traffic. Discounting can fill lanes, but it can also train customers to wait. So pricing becomes a balancing act. Charge enough to cover the building, but not so much that empty lanes multiply quietly. The useful question is revenue per available lane hour. That number shows whether the asset is working or merely occupying expensive square footage. Shoe rental helps because it attaches extra revenue to the same visit. Small add-ons matter when the fixed costs are large. The accountant does not care that Saturday felt busy. They care whether open bowling covers labor, utilities, repairs, and a slice of rent. This is why open bowling alone is risky. It depends on spontaneous demand, local habits, weather, school schedules, and what else competes nearby. A customer choosing tonight's entertainment is not only choosing between bowling alleys, they are choosing between restaurants, movies, games, bars, and staying home. The owner's job is to turn occasional fun into reliable traffic. Without that, open bowling becomes too random to carry the building. That is why the next revenue stream matters so much. Leagues are less flashy than walk-ins, but they give the building a schedule. League bowling is not the flashiest revenue stream, but for the owner, it offers something more valuable than excitement: predictable weekly demand. A league turns uncertain lane hours into scheduled blocks. Instead of hoping customers appear, the business knows who is coming and when. For the manager, league night is scheduling discipline, lane assignments, start times, shoe traffic, food timing, staff coverage, and regular customers with expectations. Predictability matters because fixed costs prefer rhythm. Rent, payroll, utilities, and debt become easier to plan when traffic repeats. A league bowler is not just one customer. They represent habit, community, repeat visits, and a reason to return when casual demand fades. The extra value is what happens around the league: food orders, drinks, repeat snack purchases, and customers who stay longer than walk-ins. But leagues are not magic. If the rate is too low, predictable traffic can still underpay for the space it occupies. The accountant asks a boring but deadly question. Does league pricing cover lane wear, staff time, utilities, and the opportunity cost of prime hours? Prime time creates a trade-off. Fill lanes with loyal league bowlers or hold space for higher-priced casual groups and parties. That makes relationships valuable. A strong league base can stabilize the center, but alienating regulars can damage years of local trust. The best league economics often come when they fill weak hours. A slow evening becomes useful without stealing the most valuable party slots. This is demand smoothing. The owner is not trying to win only Saturday night. They are trying to make the whole week less empty. There is also retention. A casual customer may vanish for months. A league bowler has a schedule, a team, and social pressure. For the owner, leagues are not nostalgia. They are a calendar product, a habit product, and sometimes the difference between rhythm and randomness. But once the regular lanes are scheduled, the next question is bigger. How much more can each visit spend beyond bowling itself? The next revenue layer is parties. A birthday package turns bowling into a solved afternoon. Lanes, food, drinks, arcade cards, cleanup, and timing. For the manager, a party is not one sale. It is a schedule puzzle with deposits, lane blocks, food timing, and staff coverage. The attraction is bowling, but the package is where the ticket grows. Lane time, shoes, pizza, drinks, arcade value, and private space. Food sounds like easy margin until the kitchen enters the story. Ingredients, prep time, waste, cleaning, equipment, and customers angry about late pizza. A bowling alley kitchen is basically a small restaurant attached to an entertainment venue, which means health rules, labor, spoilage, speed, and consistency. The arcade adds another layer. It monetizes children, waiting time, party energy, and the small gap between finishing bowling and leaving. But arcade revenue comes with its own machine problem. Card readers fail, prizes run out, games age, and broken machines make the room feel dead. This is average spend per visit. The owner wants the same customer to generate more revenue without needing a bigger building. Corporate events work the same way. The company is not buying bowling skill. It is buying a low-risk group activity that feels easy. Private events can raise revenue per hour, but they also require setup, staff, food coordination, cleaning, and enough service quality to justify the package. That is the trade-off with add-ons. They may widen the margin, but every new revenue stream adds operations the owner must control. The accountant separates revenue from contribution. Food, arcade, and parties only help if their extra sales outrun extra labor, waste, and repairs. Bowling is the anchor because it gives people a reason to arrive. The profit attempt begins after they are already inside. For the owner, the question is not whether add-ons sound smart, it is whether the whole stack actually leaves cash behind. Because once all the revenue streams are stacked together, the next lesson is unavoidable. A bigger top line is still not profit. Now comes the most important sentence in the whole business. Revenue is not profit. A busy bowling alley can still be financially fragile. A full Saturday night looks like success. Every lane is moving, the kitchen is working, and the arcade finally sounds alive. But the accountant does not measure vibes. They subtract labor, rent, utilities, food cost, repairs, insurance, software, taxes, and debt. The revenue waterfall is brutal. Lane sales enter at the top, then fixed costs, variable costs, and surprise costs take their turns. Food revenue helps, but food cost follows immediately. Ingredients, packaging, waste, fryer oil, kitchen labor, cleaning, and equipment that also breaks. Arcade revenue looks attractive too, until machines need parts, prizes need restocking, card systems fail, and the dead corner starts hurting the experience. The quiet weekday is where profit gets tested. Revenue slows down, but the building still wants lights, climate control, cleaning, and payroll. That is why the owner cares about the month, not the best night. Profit is what survives after every ordinary bill arrives. Operating leverage cuts both ways. When volume rises, fixed costs spread out. When volume falls, the same fixed costs crush the margin faster. One customer ticket may contain lane time, shoes, food, drinks, and arcade. The owner still has to know what each piece contributes. Debt makes the difference sharper. A center can be operationally decent and still feel suffocated if the acquisition loan absorbs the leftover cash. Then comes the hidden owner question. Is the business producing profit, or is the owner just working unpaid hours to make it appear profitable? So the danger is not low revenue alone. The danger is high revenue that feels impressive until the final profit slice is tiny. And one of the fastest ways to erase that tiny slice is hiding behind the lanes, the machines that must not stop. The machine room is where the bowling alley stops looking like entertainment and starts looking like a small industrial plant with customer service. Every pin setter is a revenue protection device. When it works, customers barely notice. When it fails, the whole lane becomes unsellable. A broken lane creates two losses at once. The owner loses revenue from the lane and gains the repair bill immediately. The repair bill is not abstract. Parts, technicians, emergency service, downtime, and delayed maintenance can all land in the same month. For a small owner, one serious repair can erase the profit from several good nights before the month even closes. Downtime has a formula: lost lane hours, unhappy customers, emergency labor, parts cost, and sometimes refunds or discounts to protect goodwill. When a lane fails during peak hours, the manager must reshuffle reservations, calm customers, protect party timing, and keep the front desk moving. A broken lane during a birthday party is not only technical failure, it is a parent expectation problem, and expectations are expensive. Preventive maintenance feels boring until it is missing. A center can save cash today by quietly borrowing trouble from next season. The technician's job is partly mechanical and partly financial. Keep the machine alive, and the lane keeps selling time. This creates a hard choice: steady maintenance spending that hurts a little every month, or emergency repairs that hurt suddenly and loudly. Parts availability matters too. An old system can be cheap to buy, but expensive to keep alive if parts become scarce. This is why deferred maintenance is not profit. It is an unpaid bill hiding inside the equipment, waiting for worse timing. When every lane works, the customer sees smooth entertainment. The owner sees capacity protected, complaints avoided, and future cash flow defended. But the machines are only half the hidden cost story. The other half is the giant building wrapped around them. The second hidden cost is the building itself. A bowling alley is not a small storefront. It is a giant box that constantly consumes money. The building cost stack includes rent, mortgage, property tax, roof repairs, parking, bathrooms, HVAC, lighting, trash, security, and cleaning. Those beautiful long lanes require space, and space is expensive. Every foot of polished entertainment floor has to justify its existence. When the building is quiet, the owner is still paying to heat it, cool it, light it, insure it, and keep it presentable. For the owner, the lease is not background noise. It is a monthly claim on revenue before repairs, payroll, or profit begin. The parking lot looks ordinary until it becomes maintenance. Asphalt, lighting, snow removal in some markets, drainage, striping, liability, and customer first impressions. The roof is even quieter. Customers rarely praise it, but one leak can damage lanes, ceilings, equipment, and the monthly cash plan. Inside, climate control matters because customers stay for hours. Too hot, cold, too dim, and entertainment starts feeling like neglect. Utilities become a margin variable. Electricity, heating, cooling, refrigeration, kitchen load, and lighting can all rise before pricing catches up. The manager is managing more than lanes. They are managing bathrooms, trash, carpets, tables, seating, temperature, lighting, and whether the venue feels safe. A tired front desk can weaken pricing power. Customers may still bowl, but they notice worn counters, messy shoes, and a building past its prime. Party rooms add revenue, but they also add surfaces to clean, furniture to replace, decorations to manage, and parents judging every detail. Owning the real estate gives control, but ties up capital. Leasing uses less capital up front, but exposes the operator to rent and renewal risk. A buyer may love owning the building until the mortgage, property tax, insurance, and renovation debt make the entertainment business carry a real estate burden. And once the building is open to the public, another cost layer appears. Labor, food operations, insurance, liability, and compliance. The third hidden cost layer is people. Bowling looks machine-driven, but the customer experience still depends on staff showing up and performing well. Someone has to assign lanes, solve scoring problems, clean spills, manage complaints, reset schedules, and keep the whole building feeling under control. Labor scheduling is delicate. Too few workers hurt service. Too many workers turns a slow afternoon into a payroll leak with shoes. The kitchen adds another staffing problem. Fries, pizza, drinks, cleaning, food safety, and rush timing all need labor exactly when demand spikes. Food also brings compliance. Health rules, inspections, storage, temperature control, cleaning logs, and local requirements vary, so every claim needs verification. For public venues, inspections are not decorative paperwork. They shape how the business operates, what it can sell, and how risk is managed. Liability is built into the floor. Customers carry heavy balls, wear rental shoes, walk on slick surfaces, eat, drink, and move in groups. Insurance is the price of letting strangers have fun in your building. Property, workers' comp, liability, and alcohol coverage can change the math. An insurance renewal can feel like a silent rent increase. Nothing about the lanes changed, but the cost of operating them did. If alcohol is sold, where legal, the economics may improve, but licensing, training, age checks, insurance, and liability become much more serious. Rules vary by state, city, license, and lease. For the owner, compliance is not advice on a wall. It is daily operating friction. Parties add another labor curve. Setup, supervision, food service, cleanup, reset time, and customer expectations all arrive before profit gets measured. The accountant asks what remains after the add-on revenue pays for extra staff, cleaning, food cost, insurance exposure, and compliance overhead. Cut too much labor and service suffers. Add too much labor and margin disappears. The owner is always balancing experience against cost. And when labor, food, insurance, repairs, rent, and debt stack together, the owner trap becomes easier to understand. Owners usually do not get trapped because the bowling alley has no revenue. They get trapped because the revenue arrives with heavier costs attached. A full weekend can hide the problem. The room looks alive, but the spreadsheet is asking what happened during the other 5 days. The trap lives in the gap between peak demand and average demand. Saturday pays loudly, but Tuesday quietly exposes the fixed cost structure. Debt can turn an okay operating business into a squeezed ownership story. The lane revenue may work, while the acquisition math fails. In the waterfall, debt service often comes before owner profit. A good month can still feel empty when the lender gets paid first. Then comes the repair trap. An owner delays maintenance to protect cash, but delayed maintenance often returns as emergency maintenance with worse timing. Emergency repairs are expensive because they remove choice. The machine is down, customers are waiting, and the owner needs a solution now. The labor trap is quieter. The owner covers shifts to save payroll, then discovers the business only works because they are inside it. Owner labor is a hidden subsidy. If replacing the owner with a real manager erases profit, the business is not truly passive. Hiring a manager can free the owner's time, but payroll rises, oversight risk rises, and weak systems can leak money faster. There is also the expectation trap. The more the center sells parties and events, the more customers judge timing, cleanliness, food, and service. Finally, the reinvestment trap appears. Stay outdated and lose customers, or upgrade the center and increase the financial pressure. A bowling alley can be beloved and still fragile. Nostalgia fills memories, but it does not automatically pay rent, parts, payroll, or debt. The trap is the stack: debt, repairs, labor, expectations, and reinvestment. Each one may be survivable alone, but together they compress margin. That is why the next question matters. Does one local owner face this alone, or can scale change the economics? Start with the small operator. One local bowling alley, one lease or mortgage, one customer base, one machine room, and very little room for mistakes. The small owner's advantage is community. Regulars know the place, leagues feel personal, and local trust can do what advertising cannot. The owner can make fast decisions, adjust specials, talk to customers, fix complaints personally, and understand local calendar better than a spreadsheet. But one location means concentrated risk. One pin setter failure, one roof problem, or 1 week season hits the entire business at once. Small operators often survive through owner labor. The owner fills gaps, covers shifts, negotiates vendors, and turns personal exhaustion into temporary margin. The weakness is purchasing power. A single alley may pay more for food, insurance, software, arcade machines, parts, marketing, and financing. Now compare that with a scaled operator. Multiple locations create data, vendor leverage, shared systems, marketing reach, and more ways to survive one bad center. Scale can smooth risk. If one location has a bad month, another may perform well enough to keep the portfolio breathing. A scaled operator may also build maintenance systems, preferred technicians, parts inventory, repair playbooks, and enough volume to learn from repeated failures. But scale is not magic either. Corporate teams, debt, renovations, technology, reporting systems, and investor expectations can create a new overhead stack. Scaled operators often push the venue beyond bowling. Better food, private events, arcades, premium lanes, upgraded lighting, online booking, and a bigger experience. That creates a strange contest. The local alley sells familiarity and trust. The modern chain sells polish, packages, data, and convenience. The trade-off is clear. Small operators have local control and concentration risk. Scaled operators have leverage and complexity risk. Neither model automatically wins. The winner is the operator that prices capacity well, controls repairs, fills weak hours, and keeps debt survivable. And that leads to the industry's future. Bowling alleys are becoming less like lanes alone and more like full entertainment platforms. The future of bowling alleys is not only about bowling. It is about whether the building can compete for modern entertainment dollars. Bowling still has real advantages. It is social, familiar, group-friendly, and easy enough for people who are not athletic to participate. But the competition is wider now. The alley is fighting restaurants, movies, arcades, home gaming, sports bars, escape rooms, and staying home. That means the owner is not selling a lane. They are selling a reason to leave the house and spend the night there. That is why many centers add more experiences. Better food, party rooms, arcades, lighting, premium lanes, private events, and online booking. The manager's job changes too. They are no longer only running lanes. They are running a restaurant, event venue, arcade, and reservation system. Modernization can raise revenue per visit, but it also raises capital needs. New systems, decor, kitchen upgrades, and games require money first. If upgrades are financed, the center now needs higher cash flow just to justify the upgrade meant to create higher cash flow. The hardest place may be the middle. Too expensive to stay old, not profitable enough to modernize, and not unique enough to coast. There is also a real estate question. In some markets, the land under the alley may become more valuable than bowling itself. That creates a painful comparison. Local institution on one side, redevelopment spreadsheet on the other, and the spreadsheet often speaks louder. A closure does not always mean nobody cared. Sometimes people care deeply, but the rent, land value, or reinvestment need cared more. The industry may split. Strong operators modernize, local centers survive through community, and weak locations get squeezed by cost, competition, and capital needs. Bowling may remain the anchor, but the winning business will be the one that sells a bigger night out around it. So the future does not remove the old paradox. It sharpens it. Simple game, complicated building, hidden margin, and very real hidden costs. So the strange thing about owning a bowling alley is this. The game is simple, but the business underneath it is not. The customer sees a night out, shoes, fries, a scoreboard, a heavy ball, and one lucky strike that suddenly feels like destiny. The owner sees something else: payroll, rent, repairs, insurance, utilities, food cost, cleaning, debt, and a building that never stops asking. The business is not the ball. It is utilization, average spend, repair control, labor discipline, real estate math, and debt that stays survivable. Every empty lane is a reminder that capacity expires. The hour disappears, while the rent, lights, insurance, and loan payment remain. Every working machine protects revenue. Every broken machine removes capacity, creates complaints, and turns invisible maintenance into a very visible bill. Food, parties, arcades, and events can widen the margin, but they also widen the operation the owner must manage without leaking cash. The hidden margin is real, but it does not sit on top of revenue. It hides after the expense stack has taken its cut. For a small owner, the alley can feel like community on the weekend and a spreadsheet problem by Tuesday afternoon. For a scaled operator, the same business becomes data, systems, vendor leverage, renovation debt, corporate overhead, and a portfolio of expensive boxes. This is not a claim that bowling alleys are good or bad businesses. It is a reminder that ownership changes the view. The real math is not about strikes. It is about lane hours, customer tickets, repair timing, labor control, building cost, and survivable financing. So when the lights glow at night and the lanes look alive, remember, that is the best looking part of the business. The harder question comes later, when the repair bill arrives, the staff leaves, and the owner asks what the month really earned. The hidden margin is real. But in a bowling alley, it lives behind the pins, behind the machines, and behind the building.